The next to interpolate is Congressman Keith Flores. You are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just have a few questions for Commissioner Leonardo, Mr. Chair.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Leonardo, I was absent in the first two hearings, and one of those hearings you were already invited here to this committee. Tama ba?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, and before coming over, nagbasa muna ako. I was looking for materials about you, and one of which na nakita ko is an article in 2017. No? It's an online article, and the title is Duterte controls Davao Death Squad style drug war through crony cops Leonardo and Garma. Yan po yung nabasa ko na article. And what can you say about that article, Commissioner Leonardo?
Hindi ko po nabasa, Mr.
Hindi mo nabasa. Well, anyway, the article is based on the complaint filed before the ICC, naming you as one of the respondents. Na kayo raw po ang nag-implement ng DDS style na drug war ng former President Duterte. What can you say about that, Commissioner Leonardo?
Hindi po totoo yun, Mr. Chair.
Hindi totoo. So, hindi totoo na DDS style ang pagdadala ng drug war, or yung activities nyo against in the drug war is related to DDS style na pag-implement?
Hindi po.
Wala kang kinalaman sa drug war?
Wala po.
Wala.
Yung pong sa financial investigation lang.
Sa financial
As
investigation.
a regional chief, as a member of CIDG, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Now, would you consider the tag as heading the drug war in the DDS style offensive for you as a police officer that time? Sa tingin mo bang insulto yun na sabihin na DDS style yung ginagawa for the drug war?
Sa tingin ko po, mali po yun. Kasi yung mga polis, nagtatrabaho lang po noon. Kung same lang po noong 2015, 2014, 2012, 2011. Tatrabaho na po ako noon. Natatanda ko, marami rin po kami mga trabaho.
Kasi yung DDS style ng drug war na sinasabi nila is similar to or identical with na yung sinasabing claims na extrajudicial killings. Tama po ba? Associated siya. DDS, EJK, parang ganon. Ang one and the same ang term.
Narinig ko po ganon ang perception nila, Mr. Chair.
So, kilala mo ba si Edgar Matubato, Commissioner Leonardo?
Personally, hindi po.
But you've heard of him?
Nakita ko po sa TV.
Nakita mo sa TV that he confessed that he was one of the gunmans for DDS. Tama ba?
Yeah, napanood ko po.
Napanood mo?
Sinasabi po niya yun.
And siya din ang nagsabi na kayo daw ni Garma yung nagma-micromanage on how the DDS or the drug war is to be conducted.
Hindi po totoo yun, Mr.
Hindi totoo. So hindi naman totoo na sinasabi ng ibang tao na because of your management style of how the drug war was conducted, you are close to the former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. Tama po?
Actually, lahat naman po ng police officers sa Davao City ay close po kay pag nasa ka po ng Davao City, kasali po kayo sa mga meeting with the former Mayor Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Because Duterte was also very active when it comes to the handling of the police officers in Davao City as mayor. Di ba? Tama po?
Tama po, Mr. Chair. Pati po armed forces. Kasama
pati
po
armed forces. In your meetings, di ba? So sabay mga AFP, PNP. Kaya malapit siya with these people.
Opo, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So sa dami ng officers sa Davao City, ilan yung na-appoint as undersecretary? Ilan din?
Marami po.
Marami din?
Bago po kami, marami po eh. Marami pong...
sobra 10 ba? More than 5?
I'm not sure of the number, Mr. Chair. Pero meron lang po akong mga ilan na alam na naging USEC.
Okay, but you're one of those. Tama mo?
Yes, I'm one of those.
Yes, you're one of the lucky few officers close to Duterte who was appointed as an undersecretary of a department.
Opo, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Now, do you know SPO4 Arthur Las Cañas?
Opo, kilala ko po siya, Mr. Chair.
Kilala mo?
Police po sa Davao, Mr. Chair.
Yes. So you knew him before the president became, the mayor became president.
Pakiulit po, Mr. Chair.
Nakilala mo si SPO4 Art Las Cañas before naging presidente si Mayor Duterte.
Opo, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Now, I also lived in Davao, no? Pero did Art Las Cañas have the reputation of being close to Duterte also?
I think so, Mr. Chair.
Oh, you think so or you know so? Alam mo
I think
lahat
so,
ng mga
hindi-
pulis dun eh, na
Naririnig ko lang po, Mr. Chair.
naririnig mo
Apo.
rin. Na, how about you, Colonel Garma? Tanong lang, no? Yeah, side question lang to sa iyo. Do you know Art Las Cañas?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you know also his reputation as being close to the president before the president became president, while he was still mayor of Davao City?
I'm not very familiar kung close sila or what,
You're not. So you're
Mr.
not
Chair.
familiar with the heinous crime section unit?
I am familiar, Mr. Chair.
And who was heading that unit?
I cannot recall anymore, Mr. Chair. That was
Art Las Cañas
long
wasn't
time
part
ago.
of that?
I'm not sure,
You're
Mr.
not sure?
Chair.
But you were in Davao during that time, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Leonardo. So Art Las Cañas also mentioned na ito nga, yung drug war was conducted in a very similar way dun sa sabi nilang DDS at the time when the mayor was still mayor of Davao City. Yun ang sinasabi niya in his interviews and in his testimony before the Senate before. Narinig niyo pa ba?
Naririnig po sinasabi niya, Mr. Chair.
Na yung mga nasa lista daw ay either eliminated or killed or forever disappears. Na nag-testify siyang parang ganon. Narinig niyo po ba?
Narinig ko po na sinasabi niya, Mr. Chair.
Ni Art Las Cañas. Sa tingin niyo po, in your personal opinion, may involvement ba si Art Las Cañas sa DDS na sinasabi niya?
Hindi ko po alam, Mr. Chair.
Okay, now as
Narinig ko lang
CIDG,
po sinabi niya.
as CIDG chief na region, sa Region 11, can you say for a fact na walang DDS na grupo na nag-ooperate in Davao City?
During my time, 2016, wala po akong na...
How about prior to that?
witness.
Have you heard na merong ganun?
Meron lang ako naririnig kasi may investigation po nung mga previous years po prior to 2016, Mr. Chair.
Now, yung position mo as USEC sa DNR, is it may security of tenure ba yun?
Wala po, Mr. Coterminous.
So, coterminous ka.
Hindi po siya plantillada, Mr. Chair.
Do you think that's why you were appointed sa Napolcom because it is a more secured position? Because it's a fixed term position?
Possibly, Mr. Chair.
Possibly. Now, how would you react to the statement ba na you are a police officer who has been accused? In fact, may mga articles nga na you were the one running the DDS-style drug war, and yet you end up being appointed as commissioner of the National Police Commission. What would be your reaction to that statement? Meaning, police ka na not free from issues on extrajudicial killings, police ka na not free from allegations of involvement in the killings that took place against drug personalities or something like that, no? In fact, I heard na you were the one responsible for making the narco list. Yun ang nabalitaan ko eh. So, these are issues, I'm sure you will deny that, no? Pero these are issues that have been hounding you. Yet you were appointed as commissioner for Napolcom. Don't you find that odd? Don't you find that strange? Commissioner Leonardo?
Hindi naman po, Mr. Chair. Qualified naman po ako bilang Napolcom Commissioner, Mr. Chair.
Qualified, as you say, but is it free from insinuations of wrongdoing as a police officer?
Again po, Mr. Chair. Hindi ko po
Sabi ko,
na-gets.
qualified ka nga siguro, but are you free from insinuations of wrongdoings as a police officer? Based on the article and yung mga naririnig na mga kwento-kwento about your participation or your role?
Mga insinuation po niya, mga opinion po nila yan, Mr. Chair. Wala po akong masasabi tungkol doon.
But no case was filed against you naman
Wala po.
in relation to the insinuations?
Wala naman
Wala
po,
naman.
Mr. Chair.
Okay. Now, Colonel Garma, you were appointed as OIC Cebu Police Chief in the year 2018 na po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
2018. Now, prior to your stint as OIC Police Chief in Cebu City, who was then the Police Chief of Cebu City?
Sir, Colonel Doria, Mr. Chair.
Colonel Doria.
Your Honor.
Now, there are allegations kasi that when you took over as Police Chief of Davao City, doon umakyat yung patayan sa Cebu City in relation to the drug war. What can you say to that?
Mr. Chair, during my stint, I intensified police operation po. 24/7 po ang patrol ko in those area na identified na drug den.
Okay.
So, since po na more aggressive po yung patrol, marami po kaming nahuhuli at na-aaresto po
At
na involved sa drugs po.
How about the deaths
And-
po? My question is related to the deaths that occurred.
I cannot recall, Mr. Chair, kung may mga deaths during police operation, but definitely I'm sure kung mayroon pong mga ganun sitwasyon ay nasunod lang po yung rules of engagement
Okay,
of
question.
defense po.
The drug war started in the year 2016. Tama po ba? 2016, when President
Yes,
Duterte took over.
yes, Your
But,
Honor.
so there was a year and a half siguro na iba pa yung Chief of Police sa Cebu when the drug war started. Before you took over, 2018 ka na eh.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So now, if we are to compare the number of deaths sa Chief of Police na pinalitan mo at saka sa term mo, who do you think had more deaths? You or yung pinalitan mo?
Mr. Chair, during my time,
It's a categorical question naman. Sino mas maraming patay?
Mr. Chair, it depends sa performance ng city director. If I
I'm
want,
just asking you po,
I cannot.
ilan ang namatay? Saan mas marami namatay? In your term, let me finish my
Yes,
question po. Was it during your term as the Chief of Police of Cebu City or was it during the other guy whom you replaced?
I cannot answer it, Mr. Chair, because I don't have the statistics.
Okay. So if we've secured the statistics and show it to you, na sa panahon mo, sobrang daming namatay sa Cebu. That's one of the reasons why Mayor Tommy Osmania was complaining about you. How would you react to that?
I think Mayor Osmeña is just being personal to me, Mr. Chair.
Being personal. Mr. Chair, I think it's important, Mr. Chair, that we also invite the former Mayor Tommy Osmeña to testify before this committee as far as Colonel Garma is concerned, Mr. Chair. I so move, Mr. Chair.
There's a motion to invite former Mayor Tommy Osmeña
Yes,
in the
Mr.
next
Chair.
hearing of the Quad. Duly seconded. Hearing no objection, the motion is carried. Comsec, please extend the invitation to the former Mayor of Cebu City, Mayor Tommy Osmeña.
Thank you, Mr. For my last question, Mr. Chair, I'm just
Please
gonna
proceed.
tie something up. Yung mga testimonies ng mga nandito, especially with Colonel Padilla and Colonel Garma, they both said that at one point in time, Colonel Padilla was in the office of Leonardo, and Colonel Garma confirmed that she saw Colonel Padilla in the office of Commissioner Leonardo. Yet Commissioner Leonardo still denies having had Colonel Padilla in your office and that you've never met Colonel Padilla before. Tama po ba?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
So now, how would it be na one person says that I was there, another person, unrelated whatsoever, no, to our Colonel Padilla, confirms the presence of that guy and her presence also in that office, and then all of a sudden you say, that did not happen. So are you saying po that Colonel Padilla and Colonel Garma are both lying, even if they are not really helping each other out, as far as to their presence in your office, Commissioner Leonardo?
Mr. Chair, sa natatandaan ko po, wala po.
Sa natatandaan mo lang. So you never recall having them both there?
Hindi po, wala po akong maalalang ganun po, Mr.
And
Chair.
even if Colonel Padilla under oath executes an affidavit that I was there, Colonel Garma under oath in her testimony now says that she saw Padilla there. You still deny it? Or just not remember it?
Baka po nakita niya si Padilla sa office ko, Mr. Chair. Hindi ko po alam.
But you don't know Colonel Padilla personally?
Hindi po.
You've never met him other than in this committee hearings?
Nakita ko po siya nung unang hearing.
Sa hearing na?
Magkatabi po kami
But
rito.
never in Davao, never in any other
Never
place?
po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Flores. Yes, Congressman Paduano.
Hindi, just interjection, Mr. Chair, with regards to the query made by Congressman Kit Flores to Colonel Leonardo. Colonel Leonardo, okay, ano po? So, again, you deny that you know Colonel Padilla.
Opo, na-meet ko lang po.
Okay. Ito na naman. Tinatanong, please answer me directly. Colonel, please.
Opo, Mr. Chair.
Do you know CO3 Jake Carabe? Oh, yan na naman. Hindi mo na matandaan.
Naalala ko po.
Oh, kilala mo?
Kilala ko po. Member po siya ng club namin po.
Oh. Member ng?
Member po ng club ng...
Colonel Padilla, do you know CO3 Jake Carabe?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now you know Jake Harabe, but you don't know Colonel Padilla, CO3 Harabe. Alam ko na po yung kwento, Colonel. Better cooperate. Oh, now you're telling this committee that you know Jake Harabe because of the club, but you never know personally Superintendent Padilla. Anyway, Mr. Chairman, as for now, doon lang po muna. Let us see in the next hearing.
Okay, thank you, Congressman Paduano. The next to interpolate is Congressman Rog Gutierrez. You are recognized.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, karamihan ng katanungan ko po ay natanong na, but I still have a few siguro to clarify, and I won't belabor any of the points previously raised. I'd like to direct my questions po to Commissioner Leonardo, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, alam ko po siguro na banggit niyo na rin po na isagot niyo yung ibang mga katanungan dito, pero just to really test the witness and to really, see how consistent yung narrative is po. Can you relate to us po yung history of your career from the PNPA up to this incident when you were CIDG for the region?
From the PNP, Mr. Chair, upon graduation, we were assigned at Special Action Force to undergo training. And then 1998, Mr. Chair, I was assigned in November of 1998, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Chair. I was assigned in Compostela Valley Province, Mr. Chair. And then I stayed there for 3 years, and after 2 years, I was reassigned back to Camp Crame CIDG for a short period, Mr. Chair. And then I was reassigned to CIDG 11 2001, Mr. Chair. And then I've been transferred from different region like ARMM, Region 10, and then back to Manila for a short period again, and then back again to Davao in 2008, Mr. Chair. Then on 2014 to 2015, Mr. Chair, if I'm not mistaken, I was reassigned back to NCRPO. And then in Manila, Mr. Chair. And then July of 2016, I was reassigned back to Region 11 CIDG, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So to clarify po, you've been na-destino po kayo sa Davao, Region 11, around 3 times, 3 separate periods. You have the CIDG 11 in 2001, and you were assigned in Region 11 in 2008, and then back to Region 11 in 2016. Tama po ba?
Opo, Mr. Tama.
Aggregate, how many years po kayo sa Davao?
Sa Davao po, since 1998, kasi pabalik-balik po. More or less, nasa mga more than 10 years po. Tansya ko lang po yon.
More than 10 years po. Of course, you were not regional director yet then. I assume this is different positions, but most of the time, CIDG po talaga. Tama po ba?
Mostly CIDG po ang pinakamahaba sa career ko as PNP member, Mr. Chair.
Pasensya na po for the clarification. Di po ako kasi familiar with the organization of the PNP. Kapag po kayo ay CIDG, I understand merong region and meron rin po sa city. Were you assigned to the city for some time?
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
Anong
Davao
period
City.
po? Davao City mismo. Ito po ba yung sinasabi po ninyo na 2008 or yung 2001?
2001, hindi po ako chief, pero sa region po ng
Region.
CIDG. Pero located in Davao City rin po yan.
Opo. Iba yung kampo po nung CID, iba yung location ng CIDG region, tapos yung CIDG city, or within the same campo ba?
Magkalapit lang po.
Magkalapit.
Almost magkalapit lang po.
Okay. So 2001 sa region po kayo na-assign. Yung 2008 po, is this in the city or sa region?
2008 city po.
City naman po
City.
to. And of course, yung 2016, regional head na po ito.
Regional
Regional head. Thank you. But in all these cases, Mr. Chair, the office is within Davao City po talaga. So you'd say, parang native ka na rin po ng Davao. Is that safe to assume?
I reside po in Davao, Mr. Chair.
Tubong Davao po talaga kayo?
Tondo, Manila po. But upon graduation, dun po ako nakapag-asawa, dun na rin po ako nagsettle, Mr. Chair.
So upon graduation.
Upon graduation po.
So that would be 1998, correct po, Mr. Chair?
Opo, Mr. Chair.
So from 1998 up to now, you hold residence in Davao. Tama po ba?
Sa Davao, Tagum po muna eh. Natira po muna ako sa Tagum City. And then,
Which is not far, Mr. Chair.
2000,
No?
Opo.
Okay.
Province po ng Davao region.
Okay. So 1998 up until now, Tagum area, Davao area. So sa Davao area na po talaga.
Davao po ako nakatira.
Davao talaga.
Up to now, Mr. Chair.
Tubong Tondo. So from 1998 to now, although you were assigned in Davao, close to home, since doon na po yung residence nyo, from 2011, 2001, 2008, 2016, pabalik-balik po kayo sa Davao. When you were assigned in ARM, assigned in Region 10,
Opo.
when you were assigned in Krame, you would go
Yes
back
po,
to
Mr.
Davao.
Chair.
Would you know, Mr. Chair, kung bakit po kayo na-assign sa Davao? Is this something like yung nabanggit ni Colonel Garma na you have 3 choices of regions or upon whose selection this is?
Doon pa, pinapili po kami ng mga region din. Ganun din po ang nangyari sa akin. Luckily, napunta po ako, Region 11, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, curious lang po ako sa kultura ng PNPA. I understand very close-knit group po kayo. And there's a term po, no? Ano yung tawag po ninyo as a group? Mista po ba yun? Or
Bok po, karamihan po sa amin, Bok po ang tawagan po namin.
wala
Mr.
po.
Chair.
Is there a name? I understand na as a collective group, Lakan? Something like that? Tama po.
Lakan, kasi po parang pinag-isa po yun. Kasi may yung pong gender, equality. So it was decided that we address each other Lakan po. Pero Bok pa rin po pagka magkakilala. It's more practicable para sa amin yung Bok, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. So, BOC naman. So, generally close po ang mga cadet ng PNPA. In a batch, for example, gano'ng karami po kayo in 1998?
Ako po kasi original 1996, nakagraduate po ako 1998.
Bakit
So,
po?
meron po akong lacking requirements po during that time.
So, for
For
originally
98 po, I think more than 300 po kami nung gumraduate po.
300 po.
Mr. Chair.
And maybe ask Colonel Garma for 90, ano po kayo, 97?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Ilan po kayo na batchmates?
Pumasok po kami, mabot po kami ng more than 350. Then we graduated mga 176, I think, Your Honor.
176. So, very elite few lang po, no? PNPA. Usually, marami na po siguro yung 300, and in 1997, konti nga pala po, 176. And going up and down, usually ang maabutan nyo is how many years of batches po? 4 years up, 3 years up, 3 years down. Would that be a fair statement?
Nung time po namin, ang abutan po namin, yung senior sa amin at saka yung junior sa amin. Yung halimbawa po, sa case namin, ako po 96, ang inabutan ko po yung 97. Tapos yung 95 naman po yung upper class namin.
Okay. So usually just 1 year up, 1 year down. Yun yung mga kahalubilo po ninyo sa PNP.
Yes po, nung time po kasi namin ay 2 years pa lang po.
2 years po.
Okay.
So in that case, we're looking at most 3 batches at a time na at least magkasama. And nagkaabutan po kayo ni Colonel Garma. I see. I mean, the point was belabored na magkakilala naman po kayo, magkaibigan, and understandably as batchmates in the PNPA. Pero may I ask, during your stint po, let's be specific, yung nangyari po itong incident in 2016, ilan po kayong batch 97, 98 na-assign sa Davao?
Oh. 97.
If I remembered it correctly, Mr. Chair, parang sa 98, parang 10 po. More or less 10 po.
Mga 10 lang po. And yung sa 97?
Mr. Chair, noong 2016, before my schooling, I think parang 4 lang ata kami, Mr. Chair. Yes.
So yung magkakaabutan from PNPA to be assigned in a certain area, sobrang slim po yung chances nun, no? Kasi from 300, konti na lang po kayo sa batch. At most 300, 170. And of course, assigned to the different regions. Of course, it makes sense na kung with the officership being distributed, konti lang po yun. Mabibilang sa yung dalawang kamay kung sino po yung mga kasama nyo na classmate in the area at any given time.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, would that just be coincidence po siguro? In the way that the allegations have fallen upon, I'll ask po si Colonel Leonardo, sa opinion niya po, ano po yung opinion sa mga paratang na nandun po sa sinumpang salaysay ni, I believe yung sa iyo po, nabanggit po kayo ni Mr. Tan. How do you react to that? You deny it outright po, no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Would you have any idea po kaya, Mr. Chair, kung how would he even know your name? Or bakit kayo pa, of all the people in Davao, kayo pa po yung naituro ni Mr. Tan?
I have no idea, Mr. Chair, bakit binabanggit niya yung pangalan ko, Mr. Chair.
And together with Colonel Leonardo, si Mr. Tan also mentioned in his affidavit, paragraphs 3, 16, 17, also pointed to Colonel Garma. Colonel Garma, may I ask you po, would you have any idea bakit kayo po yung tinuturo ni Mr. Tan?
Hindi ko rin po alam, Mr. Chair.
So sa affidavit po ni Mr. Tan, nakachamba po siya ng 2 PNPA na batch 97, 98 na nagsama sa Davao. Coincidentally lang po.
Mr. Chair, I do not know his intention, Mr. Chair.
Well, I think it's not just si Mr. Tan po, no? Well, of course, si Mr. Fortaleza, hindi na po yung chamba. For him to mention you, Colonel Garma, from paragraphs 2 to 8, syempre kilala po kayo. Kayo po ay classmates, no? So I don't think there's any doubt. As to the motives of Mr. Fortaleza, that's yet for us to decide. But for Mr. Padilla po, who has nothing to do exactly with the PNP structure, he's mentioned you multiple times from paragraphs 5 to 10. And siguro naman po ito, hindi chamba because you admitted to, although you don't admit to the facts in his sinumpang salaysay, you admit to knowing him, so it's not a coincidence po naman siguro. Would that be a fair statement, Colonel Garma?
It's not a fair statement, Mr. Chair, Your Honor.
Can you explain po?
He lied on the first hearing. The second hearing, because he was detained, might be he realized that sa kanya lahat ang siyang may kasalanan. He need a fall guy. And it's easy to just blend on the facts presented during the first hearing. And it's easy to say he feared his life, Mr. Chair.
in the same way that he said he feared his life because of you.
Hindi po ako nakakatakot, Mr. Chair. Perception lang nila yun, pero hindi po ako nakakatakot.
Well, I'll take your statement as it is po. And I agree. Tama rin naman po. But that's why we're here. We take our evidences together and we assess them as a committee. Yet, you can only talk about the statement of Mr. Padilla. But how do we account for the statements of Mr. Tan, Mr. Andy that would pin you? How do we take into consideration the statement of Mr. Las Cañas that has pinned both of you, coincidentally, to Lacan's box in Davao, coincidentally natagpo? And how do we now explain the coincidence also that you both face cases with the ICC? That's not a question. Sorry, I'm just wondering here po, no? Because like we said po, the basis for our evidence here, it's a he said, she said thing. But there are a lot of hymns saying that she did it. And there's only her saying that she did not. In the case of Mr. Leonard, of course, he's also saying that he did not. I think that's just something for us to consider moving forward. We're not saying this with finality, pero again, as with the seems to be the theme of this committee hearing, maraming coincidences abound. And I think I would have more questions, but I'll reserve it for a future time. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Ms. Garma. Thank you, Commissioner Leonard.
Thank you, Congressman Gutierrez. Before we call the next interpolator, meron lang akong interjection may tanong lang ako kay Colonel Leonardo. Colonel Leonardo, anong class mo sa PNPA?
Class 96 po originally, but I graduated 98 na po, Mr. Chair.
98. And what was the reason why you graduated in 1998?
Nagkaroon po ako ng kaso, Mr. Chair.
May we know ano yung case?
Na-implicate po ako sa isang murder case.
Murder case. But you were still a student. Nasa academy ka pa noon.
Opo, Mr. Chair.
So when you were in the academy, meron nang na-implicate ka na sa isang murder case.
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So that's why na-turn back ka and then you graduated 1998.
Hindi po ako na-turn back actually, Mr. Chair. Sinatisfy ko lang po nung maklear po yung aking pangalan. August 1997 na po kasi yon. So, kaya pinagraduate na po ako ng 98 finally, Mr. Chair.
So na-delay lang, na-delay lang.
Opo.
But you were still inside the academy.
During the time I was clearing my name, Chair, wala po. Nasa ano po ako.
Okay. Sige.
Nasa labas po ako, Mr. Chair.
Now, one more question. Kasi binabasa ko yung mga affidavits, no? Ano kaya ang maaring dahilan, no, o motibo ni Superintendent Padilla in mentioning your name, Colonel Leonardo? Ano kaya ang motibo niya?
Hindi ko po alam, Mr. Chair. Wala po akong...
How about you, Colonel Garma? Ano kaya ang motibo? Bakit binanggit ang pangalan nyo ni Colonel Padilla at saka ni Jimmy Fortaleza sa kanyang sinumpaang salaysay?
Parang nasagot ko po kay Representative Gutierrez po kanina.
Sige nga, pakisagot mo nga ulit. Ano yung maaaring motibo?
Sa tingin ko, Mr. Chair, during the first hearing, na-realize niya na siya ang most guilty. And then, he needs to find a way to escape from that. Feeling ko lang, tingin ko as I watch the first hearing, Mr. Chair. And it's easy to point na ako o si Sir because na-mention ako ni Jimmy Fortaleza, Mr. Chair. And as to Jimmy Fortaleza, I can remember during our visitation, humihingi siya ng tulong sa akin na makalabas siya. Presidential pardon or whatever. And I told him, I cannot do anything. Gawin mo lang papel mo, kumuha ka na abogado mo, and then isubmit mo. But I'm not the one who decides for that. Yan lang po sinabi ko. Humingi siya ng tulong sa akin, matulungan ko siya. Siguro dahil hindi ko siya natulungan, possible. And in fact, nung umalis pa nga kami, nagbigay pa nga kami ng pera sa kanya, tinulungan namin siya dahil naawa kami siya, nasa loob po siya. nag-ambagan pa kami 3 magka-classmate. We gave him money so he can survive inside. So I think yun po ang tingin ko lang po. No, I don't have evidence. I don't know how, anong takbo ng utak niya, what happened after. But for me, yan lang yung maisip kong bakit nakarating po kami sa ganitong sitwasyon, Mr. Chair.
So yun lang ang tingin yung maring dahilan kung bakit nabanggit ni Colonel Padilla at ni Jimmy Fortaleza ang inyong pangalan sa kanilang salaysay.
For me, Mr. Chair, yun yung tingin ko po on my part, Mr. Chair.
Pwede bang matanong ko si Superintendent Padilla? Colonel Padilla, anong motibo? Bakit nyo po, meron ho ba kayong motibo kung ba't nyo nabanggit si Colonel Leonardo at saka si Colonel Garma dito sa inyong sinumpaang salaysay?
Wala po akong motibo, Your Honor. But I knew them through Jimmy Fortaleza.
So nakilala nyo sila, yung kanilang mga pangalan because of Jimmy Fortaleza.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Si Jimmy, narinig mo yung sagot ni Colonel Garma na maaaring ang motibo mo dahil ikaw daw ay humingi ng tulong at hindi kanya natulungan. Anong masasabi mo naman doon?
Your Honor, nung unang punta po nila dun sa Dapicol, actually wala pa kaming number ni Garma. Nagulat na lang ako, pumunta sila doon at binisita ako. Nung pagbisita niya, ang tinanong niya kung nasaan po ba yung mga yung mga Chinese. At sinabi ko sa kanya, nandyan sa foreigners quarter. Sabi ko, bakit Bok? Sabi niya sa akin, meron kasi kaming operation dyan.
Okay. Yun ang pagkakasabi sa'yo.
Opo.
Okay. Now,
Mr. Chair, baka pwedeng sumingit na
Congressman,
kapraso lang.
sige,
I
Congressman
hope,
Fernandez.
with in the indulgence of the next interpellator. Kasi Colonel Padilla, I still remember the last time that the first time that we have invited you here, you have mentioned si Inspector Poro. Sinabi niya that kayo ang nag-order, but in your affidavit, sinabi mo that na out of loop ka na doon sa usapan. Di ba? Meron kasi binabanggit na ganito, di ba, na hindi mo na nalaman. At as a matter of fact, andun ka sa quarters mo nung mangyari yung krimen,
Yes,
di ba?
Your Honor. It was happened Saturday and it was my rest day.
At ang
Yun.
binabanggit mo during that time, kasi nga, ang sinasabi namin yung command responsibility, di ba? Pero you were insisting, not executing pa yung second affidavit mo, you were insisting that it was indeed yung si guard commander, si Poro, ang siyang nag-order na ilipat yung dalawang PDL kasama nung 3 Chinese. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor. In fact, it was written in the blatter logbook
Yes.
by the ship
Yes, and
commander.
I got yung blatter report mo na nandito. Di ba? Kasi you submitted it to us nung kinuha ko at ang sinasabi mo na hindi mo na alam yung naging desisyon because apparently it took you so long para implement yung order nila. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
At in other words, parang sinasabi mo dito na tong si Inspector Poro acted on his own. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Can we invite Poro? Can you kindly sit down here? Ay, oo nga. Sorry, sir. Sorry, Chairman. Tapusin ko na po to. Inspector Poro, kasi sinasabi mo during that time na si Colonel Padilla ang nag-utos sa'yo. Pero sa kanyang affidavit na sinumpaan ngayon, sinasabi niya na hindi niya na nalaman yung order kasi nga nainip na sila doon sa usapan na i-implement niya yung pagpatay doon sa 3. And according to him, ikaw ang nagdesisyon. Now, ngayon, ang tanong ko sa iyo, Inspector Poro, sino nag-utos sa iyo? Since hindi ka inutusan ni Colonel Padilla, sino ang nag-utos sa iyo para papasukin yung 2 PDLs kasama yung 3 Chinese nationals.
Si Superintendent Padilla po, Your Honor.
Paninindigan mo pa rin.
Opo.
Ha?
Opo, Your Honor.
Talagang ang sasabihin mo si Colonel Padilla pa
Yes,
rin.
opo, Your Honor.
Ha? So meron kang written order coming from General Padilla?
Verbal order po, Your Honor.
What?
Verbal order po.
Ano na? Verbal.
Verbal order po, yes.
O how can you prove to us na yung verbal utos sa iyo? Paano mo papatunayan sa amin?
Ang totoo po yan, Your Honor, mayroong siyang inutusan na empleyado rin po.
Sino yung inutusan niya?
Si Officer Landro Hasim.
Okay.
Nung ginawa ko yung report ko, Your Honor, sa office, nung nadala na sa loob yung mga Chinese, dumating itong si Landro Hasim sa akin, sa opisina. Sabi niya, sir, mayroong instruction si Sir Jerry. Ipagsamin sa isang silda yung Chinese at saka yung dalawang PDL natin. Dahil doon, tinawag ko ngayon yung ship commander, Mr. Villajos. Sabi ko, sabi ko sa kanya, ilagay mo sa isang silda yung 3 Chinese at saka yung dalawang PDL natin, si Mudadaro at saka si Tan. Tapos doon, Your Honor, nung natapos ko na yung report ko, kasi nga Sabado man yun, hindi man hapon na, yung mga confiscated items na na-confiscate, dinala ko doon sa bahay ni Sir Jerry Padilla.
Okay, Inspector Poro, in the hierarchy of the decision making, pang-ilang ka? Sa
Pangatlo po,
pagdidesisyon?
pangatlo, Your Honor.
Pangatlo ka.
Opo.
Ang deputy si Quinto.
Opo.
Di ba?
Yes, Your Honor. Opo.
Ngayon, sinabi sa iyo nung taong yon,
Yes, Your
di ba,
Honor.
na ilipat yung dalawa doon sa Chinese.
Yes, Your Honor.
Bilang the 3rd highest ranking official doon sa colony. Bakit hindi mo sinabi kay Quinto? Ba't hindi mo siya kinausap?
Noong panahon na yun, Your Honor, on leave, dito sa
Sino on leave?
NBP na yun si...
Sino on leave?
Sa NBP noon na may OB pala si si Quinto, P.I.S. Quinto, siya, naka-OB sa NBP, kaya wala. Noong panahon na yun, Your Honor.
Naman,
Si Sir Jerry, doon sa bahay nila.
ba't hindi mo siya tinawagan?
Hindi, pagkatapos yun, Honor, ito, pagkatapos na bigyan ko ng instruction yung ship commander, mayroon instruction.
Tanong ko lang sa iyo, Poro,
Opo.
bakit hindi mo siya tinawagan? Since andun naman pala siya sa quarters, ba't hindi ka nag-report sa kanya?
Yung Honor, please.
Alam mo, Inspector Poro, mag-isip-isip ka muna ha, bago ka sumagot ha.
Sir,
Kasi
please.
Mr. Chairman, ako, tingin ko, itong taong to may kinalaman. At dahil hindi na nga ma-implement, at ayaw ng implement ni Colonel Padilla, ayaw na implement ni Colonel Padilla, kaya nga niya pinatagal, ito ang taong itong kinontak para mag-implement doon sa loob. So, mag-ingat-ingat ka, Inspector. Inspector Poro, no? Kasi kapag hindi mo inayos yung mga sagot mo dito, sisiguraduhin namin sa susunod, maiiwan ka dito sa kongresong ito. Okay? Sige, Mr. Chairman, maraming salamat.
Thank you, Congressman Fernandez.
You want to speak?
Yes, Your Honor, pwede bang papaliwanag lang po?
Anong sasagutin mo?
Kasi nung una, di ba natapos ko na yung report ko, may instruction na dalhin ko sa bahay ni Sir Jerry yung mga confiscated items. Pagdating doon, Your Honor, tinanong niya ako nilagay mo ba sa isang silda yung mga PDL at saka yung...
Sino nagtanong sa'yo?
Si Sir Jerry.
Tinanong
Tinanong niya ako.
Alam mo, kanina, kausap mo yung isa, yung inutusan niya, tapos ngayon sasabihin mo siya. Alam mo, Mr. Chairman, stop talking. No? I think this person, Mr. Chairman, is also lying. And I think this is the person that they contacted inside. Because pwedeng-pwede siya, he is the 3rd highest ranking official. Makakarekta ka na Andun siya Ba't hindi mo nirekta? Ito ang missing link natin dito, Mr. Chairman. Itong si Inspector Poro. And ingatan mo pagsasagot mo dahil mamaya tatanungin ka pa namin ulit. Mr. Chairman, that's it muna for the meantime.
Thank you, Congressman Fernandez, for your very short interjection. So tuloy ko lang. Tuloy ko lang ulit yung isang tanong ko kasi kanina nung tinanong ko si Colonel Garma kung ano yung maaaring motibo ni Jimmy Fortaleza at saka ni Colonel Superintendent Padilla, ang sinagot mo, correct me if I'm wrong Colonel Garma, ang sinagot mo ay dahil sila ang most guilty. Tama ba yun? Sinabi mo?
Mr. Chair, it appears dun sa nung nanood ako nung first was that
So
first
yun
or
ang
second
basihan mo
hearing?
kung bakit sila si Colonel Padilla ang guilty, the most guilty.
The way po tumakbo yung committee hearing, that's how I assess.
And because you think that Colonel Padilla is the most guilty, naguhugas siya ng kamay kaya niya binanggit at saka si Colonel Leonardo?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yun ang basihan mo.
Yes, Mr. Yun ang tingin ko po sa sitwasyon during that time. Nanonood po ako, Mr. Chair.
Okay, sige. Maraming salamat. The next to interpellate is Congressman Zia Alonto Adjong. You are recognized.
A'udhu billahi minasyaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Before I ask my question, I'd like to first make a request, Mr. Chair. I was listening to the line of questioning and the exchanges between Representative Chino Almario when he was asking about the affidavit of Mr. Fortaleza. Mr. Jimmy Fortaleza, tama po yung pagkarinig ko that GM Garma called you and told you in exact words, no, doon sa affidavit mo, na tulungan sila kasi meron silang ipapagawa sa iyo?
Wala sir, walang ganyan na tulungan sila.
Sino po yung tumawag kanina na yung you were saying about a phone number or text?
Actually sir,
ano po yung text? Di ba sa affidavit mo? Text ba yun o tawag? Ikaw ba?
ano na yun sir, later part na yun.
Oh yeah.
Yes sir.
So, yun nga, that's what I'm trying to ask you.
Ang hingi lang ni ang una sir, yung tawag ni Colonel Garma, ang sabi niya sa akin, Bok, okay na, nag-usap na kami. Ako na bala, may mga tao kami dyan sa loob. Then, ang next niya na request sa akin, sabi niya sa akin na baka pwede daw dalhan ng pagkain yung mga tao nila na Bartolina.
Was this intimated to you through text, tawag, or in person?
Tawag po, Your Honor.
Tawag?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, tawag. So, Mr. Chair, I think GM Garma, just to be fair, she denied that ever making that calls to Mr. Fortaleza. And Mr. Fortaleza, in response to the denial of GM Garma, said that he had the number. Kasi tinanong po kanina ni Congressman Chino Almario kung nag-pop up o nag-appear yung pangalan doon sa cellphone. Mr. Chair, I know this happened a couple of years ago, but there's in fact a way for us to really confirm and determine whether these calls were made. Just to prove that isa sa kanila ang nagsasabi ng totoo, because if we rely on their the testimony, it's his words against his. So may I request, Mr. Chair, that we request, if possible, no? I don't know how they can retrieve this, but there's a way to retrieve those calls, because I believe the NTC or the Telcom might be they can help us in order to secure or at least to confirm whether these calls were ever made in the time that Mr. Fortaleza told this committee that it happened sometime during I think 2016, when these 3 foreign nationals, Chinese nationals, were killed inside the Davao penal colony, Mr. Chair. So I move, Mr. Chair, I move that we request from NTC a record of that call, of that text, and of that number to verify whether such calls were even been made, Mr. Chair.
COMSEC, you are directed to coordinate with the telco and the NTC as to the records of the phone call made in 2016 on those dates that was mentioned in the affidavit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Now, I would like to direct my questions to
Congressman Adyong, just for a minute. What is this about?
It's all about the phone
It
Okay.
is about
With the indulgence of Congressman Adjong, just a short question lang po. Former Major Fortaleza, yung cellphone mo ngayon na hawak at saka yung number mo is the same number and cellphone? Pero matandaan mo pa yung number mo noon?
Hindi na po, sir.
So iba na yung number mo?
Matagal na po yun, sir. Matagal
Dahil,
na.
okay, that was 2016, so hindi na.
No, sir.
But of course, siguro naman, yung number ni Colonel Garma at the time is a public, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Possible,
so,
sir. Possible.
ano yun? Ang kanya ba, prepaid o?
I have no idea, sir.
The time, are you still using your number since 2016? That was August.
No, Your Honor.
So may bago ka ng cellphone.
Yes, Your Honor.
But yung cellphone mo ba dati, ito I just want to caution you, you're under oath.
Yes, Your Honor.
During the 2016 ba may prepaid ka ba o ano?
Prepaid lahat po yung phone ko, Your...
Sorry?
Prepaid po lahat ang phone ko, Your Honor.
Prepaid lahat. Yung phone mo.
Yes, Your Honor.
If we can check on sa Smart at saka sa Globe, the time kasi Smart at Globe lang,
Prepaid.
na indeed you're not using prepaid, na may postpaid ka.
As far as I remember, prepaid.
Hindi kaya nga,
Yes.
simple lang naman tinatanong kita may postpaid ka ba? Wala. Hindi mo matandaan na naman?
So far, wala po akong postpaid
Oh,
during that time, Your
Now,
Honor.
ang sinasabi ko lang po, hindi pwede sa amin dito na hawak-hawak mo cellphone, hindi mo alam kung nagpa-postpaid ka.
Prepaid po, Your Honor.
Prepaid. But kung ma-prove ko na you have a postpaid, anong gawin natin?
2016 prepaid po ang phone ko, Your
Hindi nga
Honor.
Sinasabi mo na ngayon, what if I can prove it that you have a postpaid? Anong gawin natin?
Postpaid.
So you're lying. I will cite you in contempt.
No,
This
Mr.
committee-
Chair. Meron pa akong postpaid, may prepaid pa ako.
Yun na
but
nga
during that time,
Hindi.
okay.
Sandali.
Yes,
You're not yet
yes, Your
recognized by the
Honor.
chairman. Let me finish first.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Again, sinasabi ko lang po, I just like to warn you, kanina sabi mo prepaid. Na ngayon nang winard kita, sabi mo naman, dalawang ginagamit mo, may postpaid, may prepaid. O ano ba talaga? Do you have a postpaid?
Can I,
No. Just answer me yes or no. Do you have a postpaid or not? None.
nagkaroon po ako ng postpaid
Oh,
at
yun.
prepaid, Mr. Chair.
Oh, yun. Now, postpaid mo ano? Globe o Smart?
Nako po. Ito na.
Oh, ito na naman, no? Simple yan. Dalawa lang naman eh. Kasi yung isang telco ngayon, lately lang yan. Ba't hindi mo masagot? Smart or Globe?
I think it's Globe, Mr. Chair.
O Globe? Sigurado ka?
I'm not sure. I think, Mr.
Kaya
Chair.
na naman, pipili ka lang. Colonel Garma, this is now your last chance. Pag ako magtanong, ayusin mo po, please.
Yes, Mr.
Kasi
Chair.
don't force me to cite you in contempt. Kasi ang tanong ko, simpleng-simple lang po. Ako, kahit ever since, alam ko kung anong postpaid ko, kahit 2010 pa, kahit 2001, matandaan ko po kung Smart ba o Globe. Now, again, let me rephrase my question. Ano po, inamin mo na, may postpaid kayo. Ano po yung postpaid mo?
Both po, meron po akong Globe and
Oh,
Smart
mayroon ka Globe and Smart.
during my stint
Okay.
po.
Now, Mr. Chairman, I joined the motion made by Congressman Adjong for the NTC to submit all the calls during the time. August, no, Mr. Chairman, can I amend if,
Please.
yeah, records from 2015 to 2017, Mr. Chairman, because that was the time when it's Congress Chairman ako mamaya. Because during the time 2015 at saka 2017 doon po yung yung Davao model po. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Paduana. Congressman Adjong, please proceed.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'd like to ask both our resource persons, perhaps this goes to both of you po. Wala naman ho kayong problema, wala naman ho kayong neurological problem or anything like that. Wala naman ho kayong problema sa you may be suffering from memory loss, selective memory loss. Wala naman po, no? kung tatanungin ko po kayo sa mga previous na mga pangyayari, based doon po sa kanilang affidavit, matatandaan nyo naman po kung anong eksaktong year, kung anong eksaktong circumstance, yung taon na nagsilbi po kayo as CIDG Director sa Davao and you as Davao City Police. No, tama po ba?
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Yeah, because as I was following the line of questioning, marami po tayong hindi natatandaan. So I'm just trying to make that very, very clear. I'll start with Commissioner Leonardo. Have you also availed of an optional retirement?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So pareho talaga kayo ni GM Garma.
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Kasi, Mr. Chair, I was actually listening to the questions kanina and there seems to be a parallelism, no? Magkapareho talaga. Yung pinoint out ni DSJJ. So both of you served as in the police agency, in law enforcement agency. Both of you have served in the same area. Both of you have landed to a more it's an attractive positions, I would really say, and at a very short period of time. Now I heard about the word coincidence earlier was mentioned, but you know, Mr. Chair, I don't believe in coincidence if there are close similarities between the two of you. You both have been linked, mentioned in the ICC. Both of you have served in the span of time when the Oplan Tokhang and the double barrel was being implemented aggressively. And both of you also, in the very short span of time, have transferred from one position to another. I was listening earlier, Mr. Chair, to the timeline when current Commissioner Leonardo was appointed as director, and then for a few months, appointed as undersecretary, and after a while, appointed to the commission. Similarly, Police Colonel Rowena Garma decided to avail of the optional retirement in advance and was appointed as general manager. No. The point that I'm trying to say, Mr. Chair, is what they're telling this committee is that everything happened accidentally. Na parang yung affidavits din po nung tatlong si Mr. Fortaleza, si Chief Superintendent Padilla, and si Mr. Tan and Magdadaro are all product of their own imagination. Kasi hindi ho nila pinapatunayan. Do you still maintain that position na hindi ho totoo yung mga affidavits nila? Itong apat na tao na ito na hindi naman magkakamag-anak, na hindi naman nag-work together. I'll start with you po, Commissioner Leonardo. Do you still say na hindi po totoo yung sa affidavit po na sinalaysay na pinirmahan ng apat po na mga resource persons natin dito? You were here, no? Last committee hearing, no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So would you say na hindi totoo yung sinasabi po nila na yung involvement po ninyo, your name was mentioned in the case of these three for nationals, no, for Chinese nationals who were killed inside the Selda. Tama po ba?
Opo, hindi po totoo.
Hindi po totoo. Kayo din po, Police Colonel GM Garma, para sa inyo hindi po totoo yan?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hindi po talaga totoo. So, ibig sabihin, gawa-gawa po nila. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Kayo po, Commissioner Leonardo, gawa-gawa din po nila ito?
Palagay ko po, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Okay, so yung bilang CIDG, the regional director po, is it part of your jurisdiction to supervise or monitor the Davao Davao Prison Colony?
Hindi po, Mr. Chair.
Tama, no? Hindi. But your office is closer to how far is the CIDG regional office to Davao Colony?
Estimate lang po, Mr. Chair, probably around 40 to 50 kilometers, Mr. Chair.
Okay. So hindi naman ho kayong hindi pupunta po kayo doon sa Davao Prison Colony?
Nakapunta po ako doon.
Okay. So sinasabi nga po ninyo na hindi nyo na-meet nyo po ba si Jimmy Fortaleza, si Mr. Magdadaro, Mr. Tan, at saka si Chief Superintendent Padilla?
Nung time na yun, hindi po, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
Kayo po, GM, Garma, kilala niyo po yung dalawa? Si Mr. Tan, si Mr. Magdadaro?
No, Your Honor.
Si Jimmy Fortaleza lang yung kilala niyo dahil kabok niyo, no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Opo. Paano po, Mr. Chair, Colonel Roy Nagarma, kilala niyo po si Chief Superintendent Padilla ng Bucor?
Yeah, I met him, Your Honor.
Ilang beses po?
Once only, Your Honor.
Okay. Pero yung dalawa, hindi niyo po na-meet?
Hindi po, Your
Okay.
Honor.
Mr. Chair, gusto kong tanungin si Leopoldo Tan. Kilala niyo ho ba si Commissioner Leopoldo? Leonardo? Bago po nangyari yung sinasabi niyo pong insidente?
Sa pangalan lang po.
Okay,
Sa...
pero hindi niyo po na-meet?
Hindi po.
Okay. Kayo po, Mr. Magdadaro?
Hindi po namin na-meet po.
Okay. Pero hindi niyo siya kilala? Ito yung pangalan na hindi niyo naririnig parati?
Opo.
Okay. Hindi ko natatanungin si Jimmy Fortaleza at saka si Padilla kasi meron natang mga okasyon. What is so confusing, Mr. Chair, is that all of these 4 individuals mentioned these names. At hindi naman pupunta si Commissioner Leonardo. According to him, hindi naman siya bumibisita palagi sa Davao Penal Code, Penal Farm kasi medyo malayo at saka hindi sa jurisdiction niya. Si GM naman, Garma, although kilala niya si Jimmy Fortaleza, ay hindi rin niya kilala itong dalawa. For an average-minded person, how can 4 individuals who don't share rooms together, who don't work together, happens to mention these 2 names? Citing a specific case, a specific circumstance, a specific date. Unless there are a Pulitzer writer na maniniwala ako sa imagination nila, para sa akin, Mr. Chair, it's quite impossible for an ordinary-minded person to come up with the same story. I don't think they are too endowed with their imagination to come up with that kind of story involving specific names, individuals na hindi naman kilala. And what's so striking, Mr. Chair, is that it happened at the height of the Oplan, Tokhang, and subsequently the double barrel. Now, I'd like to ask po, kasi marami pong similarities eh. Hindi ako naniniwala. Sabihin pa ba natin na coincidence yung imagination nila, nag-isip-isip silang tatlo? Pare-pareho, nag-corroborate yung kanilang testimonies? I don't think so. That's not a coincidence for me. So, wag nyo na rin pong sabihin na maybe that's a coincidence. So now, I'd like to ask you po, Commissioner Leonardo, kanina po, tinatanong po kayo kung naging successful ba para sa inyo yung Oplang Tokhang and yung double barrel. Gusto ko lang pong marinig uli sa inyo.
In general po, successful po para
So
sa
pag
akin.
sinabi niyo pong successful, you stick your life to it, you really believe and you really support, no? Pag sinabi mong successful, of course, bakit mo sasabihin successful isang bagay kung hindi ka naman sumusuporta? Tama ho ba?
Tama po.
Okay, so you really support. Kayo po, Colonel Garma, would you say that the war on drugs at the time was really successful?
I don't think so, Mr. Chair.
So you don't think so?
How
How many deaths again
po,
have we recorded during your stay in Cebu City? You don't think the war on drugs, let's be specific about it, because I heard you responding to the question na let's not call it war on drugs because we don't use that. Okay, let's use the terminology under your policy, no, at that time. It's Tokhang, Oplan Tokhang, and Oplan Double Barrel. So which of these two policies, no, or yung program, do you think is more successful, or both of them are successful?
Mr. Chair, yung Tokhang po, parang hindi ko pa naabutan, hindi pa yun, I think, na-implement.
No, it's
it's
okay.
more on police operations and patrol po.
Okay, I'll give you that. That's a fair
Yes,
response. But I'll give you that. Do you think being part of the previous administration, would you say that it was successful?
As far as my stint in Cebu City as city director, I think it is successful based on the feedback of the people in the community, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so now my second question is, Mr. Chair, I'd like to take advantage of the presence of our Dean here, Attorney Dean Shell Jokno. Umalis na ba? Yes. Pasensya na po, Dean Jokno. Medyo napatagal po yung pag-aantay ng ano. I'd like to ask po, Mr. Chair, if I may be allowed. Dean, you are very, you follow, no, you minomonitor niyo po yung war on drugs, no, yung casualties, no. Tama po ba 'yon, Mr. Chair, Dean?
Yes, Mr. Chair and Your Honor.
Yeah.
Since the war on drugs began, my organization, the Free Legal Assistance Group, ay talagang minamanman po namin yung mga pangyayari sa war on drugs.
Okay. Dean, do you have in the way yung work po ninyo, meron ho ba kayong kunan na data kung ilan po yung mga napaslang, yung those who weren't given or accorded with the due right of at least man lang makita the day in court, especially those who have been killed na mga inosente? May number po ba kayo, Mr. Chair? Din.
Kami po ay naghain ng isang petisyon sa Supreme Court noong 2017 or 2018 at lumabas sa isang extended resolution ng court na sa unang 17 months pa lang ng war on drugs, that is from July 1, 2016 up to the end of November 2017, 20,322 Filipinos were killed in the war on drugs. So yun palang unang 17 buwan po ng war on drugs.
Mr. Chair, Dean, can we categorize or do you have at least, meron po tayong categorization? Kasi alam ko may napatay po yung pananlaban, yung official police operation, and then meron po yung nasabi po nating namatay na vigilante type of killing. Ito po yung sinasabi nilang DDS type. Kanina, Congressman Flores was asking Commissioner Leonardo, yung DDS. Ito po yung DDS type of killing. Ito po yung mga vigilante na nakamask na hindi kilala at namamatay at mostly ang mga nagiging biktima just randomly. Just killing spraying, maski sino ang nandyan, nagkataon lang, malas ka lang pag nandyan ka sa kalsada. Kaya nga po, may namamatay na mga 9 years old, 14 years old. Ilan po ba ang, Mr. Chair, Dean, if I may, sabi niyo po palagay, alam ko wala ko kayong record ngayon, but can you at least give us a estimated number of those innocent civilians who have died and considered to be in the police report as collateral damage?
Well, ito po ang masasabi ko po. In the resolution of the Supreme Court citing the 2017 year-end accomplishment report ng Office of the President, of the 20,322 killed, 3,967 were killed in anti-drug operations. So kasama na po doon yung mga sinasabing nanlaban. While 16,355 homicide cases were under investigation, yun naman po ay kasama doon yung mga riding in tandem at yung iba't ibang mga vigilante type na killing.
Thank you po. Thank you very much, Dean. I'd like to ask po, Attorney Conti, you also do have a number of killed or victims of the double barrel in Oplan Tukhang.
Yes, Your
Am
Honor.
I correct?
Yes,
Can you
Your Honor.
also, do you also have similar number as what our good Dean here
Yes.
intimated to this committee?
Yes, actually, Your Honor, the numbers that we have are segregated according to, first, deaths during police operations. And the number that we have officially from #RealNumbersPH is 6,252 dead from police operations. According to our previous sessions, Your Honor, this number has reached 7,000 as of the end of the term of President Duterte. The other category of killings, the DDS type killings, the extrajudicial killings, is officially, I believe, classified as deaths under investigation or homicides under investigation. And Your Honor, the number actually I have for deaths under investigation is 29,000, according to the spokesperson of the Philippine National Police, Colonel Bernard Banac, as of March 2019. That is why, Your Honor, the number of dead range from 12,000 up to 30,000 from official sources. Even the CHR, the United Nations Office of Human Rights, of the High Commissioner on Human Rights, and the International Criminal Court, Your Honor, are looking at these numbers.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So may I confirm also from Attorney Conti, because in previous committee hearings, you were you were present during, before the formation of the Quadcom. I believe you already had discussion on the AJK. Can you refresh the memory of this committee members, this committee? How many of those killed were innocent? At least give us just a...
Well, Your Honor, legally, the 29,000 would be innocent because they were killed outside of legal processes. They have not been proven guilty or convicted in any court, nor has any evidence been presented against them. In fact, in the course of the war on drugs,
yes,
everybody would be considered innocent.
Well, so what about, let me paraphrase my question just to be clear about it, no? Kasi may namatay naman po na mga drug pushers o sinasabi. But the collateral damage, I would say, yung sinasabi po nilang hindi part doon sa doon sa warrant nila, pero namatay, no? Tulad ni Kian de los Santos, yung mga ganun pong mga klaseng individual. Do you have the number?
Unfortunately, Your Honor, we don't have these numbers.
Right,
it would be the PNP
yes,
who can clarify.
That is correct. Thank you, Attorney Conti. Because that is correct. Because in the documents that we requested, ang number po nila is 400 plus, no? 400 plus doon. So now, I'll go back to Commissioner Leonardo. Do you also consider the death of these innocent civilians as a sign of success?
Hindi po. Hindi po successful pagka gano'n.
Okay. So let me ask you again. Do you think that the war on drugs of the previous administration is successful or not?
In general po, successful.
No, but you cannot qualify. Kasi tinanong kita, do you stick your life to it? Sabi mo, you support that. Now, you are qualifying again. So let me ask you, do you think this collateral damage can just simply set aside? Or, let me ask you again, generally, sabi mo, is it successful? It's a success. But we cannot also discount the fact that there were countless victims, died, innocent civilians. As a police officer, because your motto is to serve and protect, right? Am I correct? And as a commissioner now of NAPOLCOM, I'm sure that before you arrive, the NBank, before you arrive as part of your job, kaya nga tinatanong ko kung may selective amnesia ka kasi na mahirap po pag hindi mo natatandaan yung mga facts at yung mga dates kasi importante po yan sa trabaho mo. Hindi ho ba? Na before you arrive into adopt a resolution of the NBank, you really have to look at the data because you're like a quasi-judicial because you are rendering decision on the police officers that are facing administrative cases, right? So tanungin kita, do you think the death of these civilians is a barometer or a measurement of the success of what you just said and admitted itong Tokhang?
Hindi po.
Okay.
Hindi po.
Sir Chair, the reason why I'm pointing that out because unang-una, kung babalikan po natin yung mga kasagutan ni Colonel Garma at saka Commissioner Leonardo, dahil mukhang lahat ito ay gawa-gawa daw ng kanilang katanghisip ng apat na ito at coincidence lahat. Kung titingnan natin po yung parallel na yung career path po nila, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think there's a reason why both of you were preferred over any other possible individuals who are, sorry to say, who are more qualified than in the case when in the time that you were appointed as a director of the biodiversity. There are qualified individuals, a pool of experts that are more qualified with expertise, experience to the position, and yet you were chosen. And after how many months, you were then moved up to as a undersecretary of DNR. And subsequently, now you landed as one of the commissioners of the NAPOLCOM. And also, in the career path of Colonel Garma, both of them, by the way, availed of the optional retirement advance, the same case. I think both of you are preferred. I think both of you are favorably chosen. And both of you also supported the war on drugs. And both of you have said that it is successful. And unfortunately, Mr. Chair, with all due respect, Commissioner Leonardo and GM Garma, these four resource persons here, we have already established that it's impossible for them to come out with the same detailing, same instance, mentioning the same names, na unang-una kayo mismo nagsabi, imposibleng kilala nila kayo, imposibleng nagkaka-interact kayo. Alam po, mahirap pong paniwalaan yung ganun eh. Yung biglang may isip lang nila, hindi, baka itong person na ito, itong nangyari. I mean, all of these affidavits corroborated each other. So, my point, Mr. Chair, is that I think your position now, and I'm sorry to say this, but this is my personal take. You were given that position precisely because you have done something that actually is worthy of, I don't know, from the previous administration's point of view. Na worthy kayo bigyan ng ganyan. I'm sorry to say, but there are many of the official, marami pong pool of experts, but the question really is, bakit po kayo? And to me, the only explanation that I can derive at responses, I think you're preferred. And I think the positions that you have handled, with all due respect, yes, nag-serve po kayo sa gobyerno, and you may be decorated officers, but those are not just the primary consideration. I think the primary consideration is because you have supported the war on drugs, and you are preferred. Kasi pareho po yung track ng inyong profession and career. That's all, Mr. Speaker, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Maraming salamat po din sorry.
Thank you, Congressman Adjong.
Sorry, I just want to be official. I-address ko lang po. Dean ng Lasal. Yes. Si Dean Jokno po. Attorney Jokno and Tony Conti.